Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10-14 days for today's second video. So day 10 will take us to the 18th of April. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with CFS ensembles, maybe I'll try a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us into early May. I should get on that for you in a moment, just to say that first. The video details are 6-7 UK weather forecast. Please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everybody for doing that for GavsWeatherVids. Right, we're going to start off with the CT then. So the central temperature is currently sitting at 11.5 now. That is 3.6 degrees above 61 to 99 average. That is provisional to yesterday. So the 7th of April, turning into a very warm opening week to the month. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. Looking at London today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off above average at the moment. A little bit of cool down coming up tomorrow and in towards Wednesday, and then we'll lift the upper air temperature up again through the middle and second half of the week, becoming very mild if not warm, with southwesterly winds continuing right way through to the end of the week. Bit of a drop in the upper air temperature then taking place over the coming weekend, turning cooler or colder then, and then hovering close to the long-term 30-year average after that, although there is quite a bit of scatter within that. So we've got milder ensemble members up here, and we've got colder ensemble members down there. Precipitation-wise, not as unsettled as it has been. There's still some showery bursts to come over the next day or so. Looks pretty dry through the middle and second half of the week as we get this warm up. And then again, some precipitation after that for into the second half of April, but not a huge amount. Certainly looking drier, it's not completely dry, than it has been. Temperature anomalies from the 8th to 16th of April coming out slightly above average. And precipitation anomalies from the 8th to 16th of April, wetter than average in the north and west, drier than average in the south and the east. It looks like the low pressure and jet stream are starting to lift out a little bit further northwards there, as higher pressure brings drier weather into southern areas. Ladies and gentlemen, from map of Earth, NoSchool.net, so we've got another deep area of low pressure just sitting to our southwest again today, and so that is going to be bringing further wind and rain northwards across the country through today, tonight and into tomorrow as well. Right, let's go for chart data. This UK Bet Euro run is looking for midnight on Thursday. Higher pressure started to build up from the south, lower pressure started to lift out to the north, so turning dry and also very mild, if not quite warm, with this southwesterly flow through to the end of the week. And then over the weekend, low pressure deepening in the Atlantic, bringing cooler and more showery west to northwesterly winds, possibly shifting the wind around to the northwest to the north by the beginning of next week. That gets midnight Monday, which is as far as we get to with the UK Met run there. Icon again, building high pressure up from the south on Thursday. Low pressure lifting out to the northwest, turning mainly dry and warm through to the end of the week with this area of high pressure to our south, dragging up this southwesterly wind. Into the weekend, the high pressure begins to ease away as cooler, showery west-northwesterly is set in. Start of next week, we don't shift wind around to the north with Icon. We keep wind in from the west to the northwest. Still relatively high pressure, actually, in the south. So probably mainly dry there, but just a little bit more on the showery side in the north. The KMA looks like that. Again, very mild and, if not quite warm, and mostly dry over the weekend. But into the rest of the weekend and start of next week, turning unsettled deep area of low pressure, potentially bring some severe gales into the north and colder as well, with winds coming from the northwest. High pressure then, which is back in from the Atlantic. So by 20th of April, we find ourselves under an actual area of high pressure, not just a ridge, but an actual area of high pressure sitting over top of the country there by 20th of April, something we haven't seen for a very, very long time. GFS midnight run again has this ridge building up from the south as we go through to the end of the week into the weekend. That ridge eases southwards again as showery conditions come back in from off the Atlantic. A northwesterly wind, quite a strong wind as well, cool and showery for starters next week, for high pressure ridging back in from off the Atlantic through to around days 8, 9 and 10. Then high pressure really taking over beyond day 10, shifting its way towards Scandinavia, starting to bring the wind in from more of an east or northeasterly direction. So that's a setup by the end of GFS midnight run. Scandinavian high and low pressure to our east, winds coming in from the east or from the northeast. That could bring some showers into the east, but it's certainly not significantly drier there with the GFS midnight run. And then we've got GFS 6 there, again building that high pressure up from the south on Thursday into Friday. Still there into Saturday before this trough of low comes in the Atlantic, flattens it off, turning cooler and more showery through the weekend. Northwesterly winds bring quite cool, if not relatively cold air in from off Atlantic to the start of next week. Day 10, northwesterly winds rather cool and showery then. And then beyond that, high pressure builds up from the south, turning mostly dry once again under that area, not just rich, but under that area of high pressure as we go through the third week of April. We get to 24th of April as far as we get to with the GFS 6 Edward, and the high pressure's got at Scandinavia, winds are pulling in to an easterly direction just then. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share and subscribe. And so everyone bored doing that, why don't drop a comment and say what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. So everyone for doing that. GM again has high pressure building up from the south on Thursday to Friday, very mild if not quite warm and pretty dry too. The weekend a little bit more showery and rather cooler, and then this low pressure deepening in the Atlantic Sunday through to Monday could bring some wet and windy weather and a blast of northerly winds through the early part of next week. So quite cold for the beginning of next week before high pressure then starts ridging back in from off the Atlantic as we get towards day 10. Mostly dry in the south, still showery in the north, and we'll wind back in more towards the west, but probably still quite cool up to that point. And then finally for the chart data, we've got the ECM again with that ridge from the Azores to our south on Thursday and Friday. Very mild, if not quite warm and dry down across southern regions. Over the weekend, turns a little bit more showery and cooler. Winds back in from the west. Then we go into northwesterly to a northerly through the beginning of next week, so becoming colder for the early part of next week. That's a setup by day 10. Wind is backing into the west again, so less cold, but probably still quite chilling. High pressure to the south and low pressure to the north. This is a precipitation forecast based on the Eastern run from TomatoShow.com. Plenty of wet weather to come in the north and west through the rest of the day tonight and into tomorrow as well. There was snow mixed in over the highest ground of the Scottish Mountains, Pennines, etc. All about wet weather gets out of the way by the end of tomorrow. Then we go drier briefly before more rain heads in from the Atlantic on Wednesday. And then the trend through Thursday and Friday is drier in the south, but still quite unsettled up in the north. The weekend starts to turn cooler with winds in from the northwest, showers turning wintry in northern and western regions. Snow showers perhaps even down into central some parts of England by the start of next week. Not sure about that, could be a little bit overdone. Certainly wintry showers in the north anyway, with both northerly winds, possibly something a little bit more significant in terms of snow coming southwards through the early part of next week. That's Tuesday next week. And then by day 10, we bring milder air back in from the Atlantic, so precipitation turns back to rain in the north, rain in the north, and mostly dry down in the south. These are the October tables in the ECM ensemble day 4, day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office gets us to the 18th of April. 21 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the northeast, high pressure to the west, and winds coming in from a northwesterly direction. We've got 15 with low pressure to the east, high pressure is out to the west. That can be quite cool as well. Winds in from the northwest to the north. That includes the control and the operation run. 9 with low pressure to the east, high pressure to the west. Again, that could be unsettled and potentially quite cold. And then we've got 6 with high pressure to our south. So that's mostly dry and relatively mild or quite warm. Winds still coming up from a southwesterly direction. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It will get us to the 23rd of April. 23 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure south and also to the north. So, you know, that's turning more settled. We've got 14 with a big area of high pressure, sitting very close to the country. And then we've got another 14 with high pressure towards Scandinavia and to the Azores. But we'll bring the wind in from the east. But to be honest, all the options, you'll notice all the options by 2 weeks out, 23rd of April, are involving yellow, orange and red colours, which of course is above average heights, which is high pressure. So the trend here is definitely towards higher pressure, maybe even high pressure, as we're going into the second half of April, which is something we've been looking at for a while. We've been talking about it for a while. Looks like the trends are beginning to firm up a little bit in that direction today. CFS V2 finally beats a 500 millibar high times, bring down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 8th to the 14th of April. The next week has high pressure to the south and low pressure is away to the northwest. Wind coming up very mild southwesterly direction. Week 2 will be the 15th to the 23rd of April with high pressure to our west, low pressure to the east. Again, winds coming in from more of a northwesterly direction with that one mostly dry and settled. Week 3 will be 22nd, 28th of April with high pressure away to the northwest. Around that, we'll probably bring in a wind from more an easterly direction, but still mostly dry, of course. And then week 4 is the 29th of April to the 5th of May. High pressure still in control, but this time sinking towards Iceland and Greenland. Low pressure in Scandinavia and down towards Spain. The danger there, of course, is about two troughs, the two lows sort of get together and form a big trough across the north and the west of Europe underneath this blocking feature. Not enough evidence to say that's what's going to happen, but it is a danger in that kind of pattern, especially as we go further on into the summer and more energy is available to spawn troughs some low. But we shall see. It's 4 weeks out, so not worth worrying about. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you everyone for doing that. Won't drop a comment. Let's know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you to everybody for doing that. So I just tell what's happening on my channel tomorrow. We're going to start off 6 a.m. UK weather forecast. We're going to have the extended ECWF European outlook, and there'll be a 10 to 14 dayer as well. So you enjoy the rest of your Monday. I shall see you for tomorrow's videos. But for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.